He is joining us coming off another big win. Here he is, the big man, Paul Hughes. Paul, thank you so much for doing this. Great to have you on.
Myth, an absolute pleasure, Ariel. Pleasure and an honor.
Well, congratulations on another big win for you. And certainly
Thank you.
there's a lot of talk going into this fight week, regarding your contract and your future. And so I'm just wondering, there was that, but there was also multiple opponents. I believe the opponent that you fought on Saturday, Fabiano Silva, was your fourth opponent that you were scheduled to fight, right? Was there any point where you thought
Yeah,
this fight wouldn't actually happen and that would delay your tenure with the promotion?
absolutely. I mean, Fabiano was actually my fourth opponent in the space of a week. There was many more before that. It actually took me months to get my initial match. So yeah, it was a fun week. And there was definitely points that I thought the fight wasn't happening. I mean, I went through, as I say, four in a week. So it got to Tuesday night, and that's when I heard Fabiano had accepted. Now, 2 days previous to that, so on the Monday night and the Sunday night, was two different opponents. They both accepted, and I was like, right, we finally got somebody here. And then it came to the following evening, and it was like, no, the other guy's out. He says he can't make weight now, or his medicals didn't get cleared. Then it got to the Tuesday night, and Mr. Silva, fair play to him, he saved the day, and Ian Dean saved the day. So we finally got a fight, and believe it or not, Ariel, I mean, I only found this out after the fight. The guy's medicals didn't get cleared fully until the day of the fight,
Oh my
until the
God.
afternoon. So that's how tight we cut it. And honestly, I'm just so grateful to be able to actually get in the cage, get another victory, and then to finish my chapter with Cage Warriors and to finish my contract. So
And what would have happened if the fight didn't go on? Like, would you have just had to wait a few more months for your next fight?
yeah,
Okay, so it wasn't one of those
yeah.
contracts where there was like a term attached to it and you'd be a free agent regardless.
No, I would have had to wait.
Eh,
So I was stressing.
Yeah, that would have been devastating, right? Like when you're sort of like mentally set on something happening and then it getting delayed is deflating, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could probably sum up the last 2 years of my career being that exact situation. So I kind of thought, God damn it, is this happening again to me? But here, the MMA gods prevailed, and we got the fight, and I'm free, and I'm very happy about it.
Considering the fact that there was a lot at stake here, right? Like you slip on a banana peel, you lose this fight to a very late replacement. Your stock goes down, right? Your leverage goes down.
Hmm.
Were you feeling that pressure as well?
Absolutely. Earl. I mean, like, I had a lot of opponent changes, but each opponent, the level went up and up. Now, I was accepting anybody. I just needed somebody. I believe in the best, so it didn't matter. But I mean, Fabiano, 50 fight veteran, 14 KOs, 12 submissions, only been stopped, I think, twice in his career. That was a Tuesday night. It was like, you want to fight this guy? And I was like, of course, just get somebody in the cage. I mean, this is the sort of guy that I don't want to say spoil the party because I believe I was always going to win, but it's the sort of guy that could maybe make you not look as good as, make it awkward. He's super durable. So that was a concern for sure because I didn't want my potential value to drop because I've fought some 55 Brazilian veteran that just stayed in there and took a lot of damage and I couldn't get the finish. So the pressure was there, but look, I prevailed. I shut him down. I got the finish and yeah, happy about it.
Yeah, and you got another impressive first round finish. Was there any talk from Cage Warriors to keep you around, to re-sign you?
No, there was nothing about re-signing.
And
I think, look, man, that chapter's done there. I mean, I've done so much with Cage Warriors. They've built my career. I've had so many big nights. I've won the title years ago against Charrier, unified it. I've been there, done that years ago. And the fact that I'm still here at this point is probably a surprise to everybody, myself and Cage Warriors included. So, nah, there was nothing about re-signing. It was just a case of we're going to let this guy move on.
And so why, as of Saturday, were you still there? Because let's be honest, there were a lot of fighters who aren't as talented and don't have the resume that you have who were long gone. So why were you there and why did you have to fight out your contract?
Well, look, I still have one fight left in my deal.
Oh,
I had opportunities. Yeah, there was one fight left, and so I made the decision to,
oh, one fight
to
going into
vacate my.
Saturday. Sorry, one fight, not
Yeah,
another fight. Okay,
yes,
gotcha. All right.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. So I had one fight left, so it made sense for me. I had already vacated the featherweight belt, moved up a weight class, so I wasn't tied into like a champion's clause of defenses, anything like that. So at the start of the year, I assessed it, and I thought, look, a good option for me right now might be to actually fight out this Cage Warriors contract, become a true free agent in a few months' time, and then be able to have the opportunity to play the game.
Were there any talks from any of the other promotions? Because Cage Warriors has the relationship with the UFC where, if you still have fights left on your deal, the UFC could come sign you, and they usually don't stand in the way of that. Was this something that ever came up that came on your radar?
With the UFC, sorry?
UFC or any other promotion. Did anyone try to sign you before
Yes.
the end of your contract with Cage Warriors? And if so, why didn't that not happen?
Yeah, I had an offer from the PFL and Bellator after my last fight, but I couldn't get the release granted. Well, look, I inquired about it, to see if that was a possibility, but it wasn't a possibility. So my only option then was to fight out my contract, and that's what I decided to do.
Why wasn't it a possibility?
Because I was still under contract. I owed them one more fight, and that's just how it was.
Okay, so instead of me beating around the bush, can I just ask you straight up, is it because the owner of Cage Warriors or the promoter of Cage Warriors, Graham Boylan, has a great relationship with the UFC and you are not managed by him? And so if you're not managed by him, he's not going to let you leave the contract early?
It's quite possible, It's quite possible, but I mean, I think there's been people in the same position under Graham where they haven't fought in other organizations as well. So potentially.
Was an offer ever made from him to you? Hey, if you let me manage you, I'll get you into the UFC before this deal is done.
No.
No. Okay, that was never discussed. Did you consider it? Did you want that to happen?
No, I didn't want that to happen. I'm working with the best in the game and Tim Simpson and Chosen Advisory, so I have full faith in my management now. I've recently started working with Tim this year, so I believe I'm absolutely in the best position. All the good things are in place behind the scenes for me to take off now.
Yeah, and Tim really is one of the best, and I know he only works with a select few, right? Given the name of the management team,
Chosen few.
So that says a lot about you. That he would want to represent you, and so as we currently sit here on this Monday evening in Ireland. Do you have offers on the table from other promotions?
Since Saturday, not yet, but we are in talks, and Tim is gonna work his magic now, and I'm gonna let him do what he does, and I'm just gonna sit back and see what comes. I done my business on Saturday night. I fought out the contract. I've created the hype, and now I'm gonna let Tim, the best in the game, work his magic.
You don't have to tell me this, and it's probably in your best interest not to tell me who your top choice is, just from a negotiation standpoint. But do you have a top choice in your mind? Is there a place where you want to go if everything was the same? If all the offers, all the opportunities were the same, is there one place that you would rather go above the others?
Honestly, right now, I couldn't say because I just haven't got any. Once I have it on the table, Ariel, then I'm going to see what my heart and my mind tells me then, because it's all well and good because Errol, as I said to you, I had an offer at the beginning of or at the end of last year with the PFL, and it was something, a possibility that I never even thought about before, and it completely changed my viewpoint on my potential, my pathways in my career. So it's something that I've done a great deep dive into, is the MMA industry in general, into myself and what I want from this game. I've really, really done a deep dive, and I've thought about, if I go here, then where will I go to? Where will I be in 2 steps? Where will I be in 5 steps? And I've thought about that for multiple organizations. But until I have offers on the table, whether that be next week or whether that be 2-3 weeks time, I can only truly assess then when it's in paper and it's in writing. And then I'm going to have to do another deep dive and make the choice, what's best for me, what's best for my career, my family's future. And yeah, it's super exciting, man. It's super exciting.
Yeah, it's great when the when the world is in the palm of your hands. And so you say that, like, after the deep dive, you were able to sort of figure out what you really want out of this game. So what do you really want out of this game?
Look, I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want to leave this game with no money and a lot of brain damage. That's what I don't want. Recently, very, very recently, a good teammate, teammate of mine and a very good friend, and Ryan Curtis, who I think you've covered in the show, got severely, severely injured. Just beside me in the training mats, I was there with him for hours until the ambulance arrived, and I've visited him many a times. And for anybody that listening that doesn't know the story, is Ryan just had an incident in training where he basically broke his neck and his back very, very badly. He's in intensive care, or he was in intensive care. He's currently rehabbing, and you know, when something like that happens so close to home, it really, really makes you assess things even further. Because even talking to Ryan just last week before the fight, we were just catching up about it all, and he was just saying to me, like, when something like that happens, he was just thinking to himself, but why does it have to be me that this happens to? You know, you hear about these things happening and all that, but why me? I'm the one lying here now. I can't move. I can't move my arms and legs. Why does it have to be me? You know, and Ryan's got a family, and he's just an unbelievable guy that has everything going for him. And then just like that, one training night, just a normal Thursday night, everything changed, and he's give his life to this game, and I've also given my life to this game at this point. And I want to have something to show for it, Ariel. And I deserve to have something to show for it. All fighters that put their ass out there deserve to have something to show for it, and they deserve to get their value. So that's where I'm at right now. I feel I just want to have something to show, man. I feel like I feel like I have all the potential in the world to be the superstar in the world of MMA. I feel I'm good enough right now, skill wise, but beyond that, I believe I have all the tools, and I want to capitalize on it, and I want to set myself up for sure.
Very well said. And I want to ask you a follow up regarding that, but just as an aside, because you know Ryan's story is heartbreaking. But I've seen some somewhat positive videos, some potentially positive videos of him. Could you give us an update on how he's doing right now?
Yeah, so he put up a video last week of him doing the
Yeah.
bike. So I'm calling him Big Lance now, Big Lance Armstrong. He's got the legs going. I tell you what, Ariel, like, of course, is how traumatic and crazy the situation is. But if there's anyone to get through this, not to just get through it and to potentially walk again, which he will, but to be a success story that everybody around the world that has a similar injury can look at and say, that guy, Ryan Curtis, used to be the MMA fighter, and now he's back doing this and that. That is what Ryan's going to be. Like, from the get-go, we believe, and Ryan believes, that he is going to be the example to set around the world of what you can come back from with the power of the mind. And that's what Ryan has. And being a fighter is his greatest asset. And he's gonna change the game when it comes to recovery. I truly, truly believe that. And he truly, truly believes that. So to answer your question, he's doing well. It's a hard grind. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy for him to be up and doing that every day, but he's gonna set an example, and I'm unbelievably proud of him, and I love him.
I love to hear that as well, and thinking about him and praying for him. And every video is more promising than the next, and I have no doubt that that is going to come to fruition, as you just said. So going back to you and your story, there have been some people in the past who, let's be honest, the UFC is the top dog. There is a massive gap
Yep.
between them and everyone else. You see what they do for fighters who sign with them. Best example as of late, Michael Chandler. Look at the superstar that he has become as a result of signing with them after 10 years or so with Bellator. There have been some fighters who have taken less just to go to the UFC because they believe that being with the UFC will, in the end, pay off. And then there are other fighters who say, I want the security. I'm okay with not being in the UFC. I want the payday to secure my family's future, et cetera, et cetera. Would it be fair to say that you agree with me that the UFC is the top dog, but ultimately, if the latter is presented to you, meaning a massive offer from someone else that isn't the UFC, you are not turning that down and taking less just to say that you're a UFC fighter?
Absolutely not. I'm willing. I'm open to everything right now, Errol. Honestly, I'm open to everything. And as I say, I had to do a deep dive, and I had to ask myself, you know, is it fame that I want? Is it just like clout? Is it to say that I'm in the UFC? And to be honest, Errol, I don't give a bollocks about that. I just turned 27 last week. I'm not that 21, 22-year-old kid that like has this dream of only UFC and I want to say I'm a UFC fighter. I'm at the stage now where I've done had a lot of big nights in my career. I've done a lot of big things, and it's not just about saying, "Oh, I fight in the UFC." Me right now, the number one thing, being the best fighter on the planet. There's nothing to say I can't do that. I can do that anywhere. Do you know what I mean? I can still be the best fighter on the planet, but I need to get my value.
I love it. And 55, right? You'll be fighting at 55 wherever you go?
55, yeah.
Yeah. I saw a photo that you posted a few months ago of you, Ian Gary, and Conor McGregor, I believe, at the Black Forge Inn. What is your
Yeah.
relationship like with those two, and what was that little tete-a-tete like for you?
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was really, really cool experience and totally unexpected as well. Ian was just in town. he was in town. I think he had just fought and he was coming back to do some visa stuff. And I'd be friendly with Ian. You know, we came up together in Cage Warriors. I cornered him in his Cage Warriors World title fight. We've had a funny history, and I consider him a friend. So went down to Dublin just to see him and catch up. And just by pure chance that day, he had been talking to Conor on Instagram, and he said basically, Ian dropped down to the gym later on. Let's train. And I think that's when they had their boxing spar. And he said, "Look, bring your people. Let's go to the Black Forge for dinner." I was in Dublin at the time. I was hanging out with his strength conditioning coach and my strength conditioning coach, Brandon Gallagher. And he was like, "Look, man, get down to the Black Forge now. You know why." So we rocked down, we pulled up, and we were sitting down at the table. Conor comes around the corner. The first thing he says, frig me, there's big Hughesy in the building too.
Wow.
big handshake, big hello. And we had dinner, and we went outside. We were in the smoking area chatting about fighting. There was a point where, you know, Conor, he's just such a special guy, special energy. Like, he's the most energetic man I've ever been around. But we were exchanging details about fighting. We were talking about Conor's fights. Like the morning of the Aldo fight, he was telling us about the movement work he was doing outside. And there was a point where like all three of us were like kind of shadow boxing and like talking about fighting. And there was points Conor he was looking up in the sky and he going, "Lads, we got to thank God for this. You know, we got to thank God for this. This is an unreal life and all." And we're just talking about this. And I remember just one point going, "This is absolutely mental. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it?" Ian and myself, we came up together, a great relationship. Now we're moving on to big things. And we're spending time with the greatest to ever do it, who's just from down the road, you know, and he's passing on the knowledge. It was a truly special night, and it gave me a lot of deep drive and energy to keep pushing on and to show me I'm on the right track. So it was awesome.
I love that. That is a tremendous story. I asked you earlier your weight. You said 155, and I couldn't help but notice a cheeky little comment. I think it was on your Instagram regarding another 55-pounder in the UFC, Paddy Pimblett. I believe, and I'm not endorsing this comment. I come with peace and love, all right, Paul, peace and love. But I did read that you called him, I do believe, a shite bag, I believe you called him. What's your issue with Paddy?
A shite bag. Look, Ariel, he's a shite bag, mate. He's an absolute shite bag. He has been since Cage Warriors days. To be honest, you know, I'm not a huge one for beefs and all right now. I only do it when it's legit. It's not no fake stuff, but I just think he's always had a stinking attitude as well. Being around him in the Cage Warriors days coming up, I've just never really seen eye to eye to him to be honest. And I think what he's doing, I mean, his fights in the UFC, very, very poor. I genuinely believe, as I said in the comment, I'd beat him with one hand, and he's a shite bag. So absolutely a fight that I want down the line or would be open to. So yeah.
Okay.
You see it all there. Like, you don't miss nothing, you boy.
Listen, we see
you don't miss nothing,
and there's people that help us out as well. But that's that's interesting stuff considering who you were fighting for as of Saturday. So when would you like? Do you have a timeline? When would you like to come to a deal with someone? Are you anxious to get this completed?
Look, whatever time the deal needs to get done correctly, I'm willing to take. But I am absolutely adamant about fighting as much as I can this year, because I had to do a lot of waiting around last year, waiting for opportunities, putting my name in a lot of hats when nothing came to fruition. So I am hungrier than ever, Ariel. Saturday night was just a warm up. I want to fight a lot, man. I have so much to prove in this game. I keep saying that I'm the best in the world, but I need to prove it against the top guys now. So I want 4 fights this year, wherever that may be. I'm ready to get active and I'm ready to prove myself.
I love it. Well, congratulations on everything you've accomplished thus far. Congrats on the win, on the winning streak, on completing your contract on top. And I can't imagine why PFL, Bellator, UFC, any promotion under the sun wouldn't want to sign you. And so I'm very curious to see where you end up. Sorry it took us so long to have you on the program, but I was just enjoying your interviews with PT so much. I felt like I knew you already. And Tim obviously speaks very highly of you. So the first of many, I hope. Congrats. Enjoy everything that comes with this and enjoy the process as well. And I think that you'll be sought after, and I'm looking forward to seeing where you end up. So well done, Paul. Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
An absolute an absolute pleasure and an honor to be in your show, Ariel. Really do appreciate it. And Ariel, sure, you know yourself.
You know yourself, Paul. Hottest free agent in the game right there. Well done, Paul Hughes. Can't wait to see
Appreciate
where
it.
he signs with and who he signs with, I should say. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.